Hey everyone, I have another travel vlog that I prepared for you guys. Well, this time we traveled a little bit outside of Paris to a little town called Giverny, and you may notice and recognize some of these paintings. It's by Claude Monet, the king and the almost the most influential figure in the art style of Impressionism. And this is where he lived for the later half of his life. And he got this big, mansion full of staircases and Japanese art for some reason. And he has a nice flower garden, which we're gonna look at in a bit, and a water lily garden. So those are the two big gardens, and this is like, I'm just showing you all the nooks and crannies inside of the house. Yeah, this is where he actually lived and worked. So, it's fairly well preserved, and I think it was a great way to experience what life must have been like for him. This is my ticket and kitchen. It's like the same area, so I just wanted to quickly show you. But yeah, you can see that this area has a lot of flowers and nature, right? It's not too far from Paris, but it's actually extremely rural, is what we noticed. Here's the water lily garden on the way there, and yes, this is probably you recognize these from all the paintings that Monet did. And this gives you a better reality of the water quality of the pond, which is a little bit weird because all the streams that are flowing next to the, ponds are all super clean water, but the water lily pond, the water is stagnant, so it's kind of murky. But here's that like famous Japanese bridge, and yeah, apparently he was really influenced by Japanese art and Japanese culture, like a lot of other European artists at the time. Apparently, it's because of the World Expo in Paris that featured a lot of Japanese art, and it was really new for the European artists. So it was like a fresh spark of inspiration for them. And yeah, this is basically the going back to the flower garden again after exploring the water lily garden. And yeah, lots of too many flowers. Sorry, I'm not a flower guy, so I have no idea what all these flowers are, but they were very beautiful. And this is like summertime, so I imagine it must have been a lot more bloomy in the springtime. This is the gift shop, and apparently, south of France has the nicer weather that's more appropriate for grapes and wine. And in the north of France, they do a lot of apples. So these are apple liquors. I had a chance to try one of them, and it was very sweet and very appley, if that is even a word. And I think I'm gonna try some more appley stuff when I go back home. And apparently, that's like the origin of apple cider that we drink in America. Isn't that kind of crazy? Overall impressions about this rural town of Giverny is that yeah, it seems like a perfect environment for you to be a artist playing with light because there's plenty of light, but at the same time, I could tell that the area could get very misty, right? So there's a lot of opportunities for refractions, and there's a lot of opportunities for light to interplay with different colors. So it was just a really colorful village, and it was yeah. I think if you're in Paris and you're staying for an extended bit of time, I think it's worth a visit. I don't know about two visits, but yeah, it's definitely worth a visit. Okay, our next destination is another small town called Auvers, and it has a more full name, but basically why this town is important is because it is the last town that Van Gogh lived in briefly before he shot himself to death. And so let's take a look at this town. Yeah, so we're walking around this town. What I thought was interesting was this town is actually a little bit closer to Paris, so it's really not that far. But it's suddenly becomes very rural. I thought that was really strange because I don't know, maybe it's not that strange because if you drive up 1 hour from Los Angeles, you go into Bakersfield, which is a pretty rural area. So I guess it's not that strange. But anyway, this small town, nothing really naturally occurring to, inspire visitors. But again, this is just the after Van Gogh had his tumultuous life. This is basically where he remained in care for his mental health, and this is where he ended his life, which is apparently rumored. Um, I'll stop the video a little bit here and then show you the some of the paintings that we have seen around this town. So take a look at these artworks. So this is L'église de Auvers-Sur-Oise was. Take a look at this church in particular, and look at this, these houses and these fields. And lastly, take a look at this very famous painting. And because yeah, you when you go to other places that are related to Van Gogh, you don't really get to see what it was really painting, what he was actually looking at when he was painting these things. But for this town, you could actually see some of it, which I thought was pretty interesting. So now let's go back to my videos. And yeah, it shows you a little bit, and we do a little bit of a hike up and hike up a little bit more and more to finally oh yeah, there's this donkey here. I don't know if you're gonna see him. He's behind that pot. But yeah, apparently this donkey is a bit of a town celebrity. So keep walking and walking around these red roofed houses to look at that church, right? That church is exactly what you saw in the painting. And yeah, this Van Gogh had a relationship with the church because his father was a church, and he, I believe, if I remember correctly, he was aspiring to become a priest as well. So he has some relationships with the church. So, yeah, this is that very big church he drew in that painting. Oh, this is that forward view. Unfortunately, the church is so big, I can't really put it all in one frame. But yeah, we walk up a little bit more to find the fields and the tombs of Vincent Van Gogh, and Theo Van Gogh. And we walk up a little bit more and more to look at that cornfield, which resembles Interstellar a little bit. But in the painting, it's a wheat field and not a cornfield. But it doesn't. Apparently, corn takes up a lot of the power of the ground in terms of like minerals and nutrients. Oh, sorry, wheat does. So you have to kind of refresh the ground with different kinds of crops. But yeah, when you look at it from this view, you can see how that painting is very similar, right? Yep. And this is the actual grave of the two brothers, and this is a quick shot of the cemetery. And that was yeah, that town. I think if you're in Paris for an extended period of time, I think that town is also worth a visit, especially if you're into Van Gogh. But I wouldn't say it has a ton of other things to do in that town. But anyway, the last destination is the Palace of Versailles, and it's pretty crazy. So when I try to capture it in a camera, right? It's either too far to capture the like grand scale, so it looks a little bit small, or when I go close to it, it's too close, so I can't really show you the correct scale of what it feels like in person. Maybe this is why cinematographers get paid a lot of money to shoot these kinds of videos, but I'm just a guy with the phone camera. But yeah, you can see the exuberance of the golden buildings, and it's crazy how opulent and almost like it's to the point of extravagance. But anyway, apparently all of this gold used to be real, but now it's fake. And we're walking to the Chamber of Mirrors, and take a look at that garden. Lots and lots of paintings, and architecturally it's classic as well, as you can see from the videos. And there are so many other more rooms like this. um I I was taking videos more and more, and then I realized, oh my god, all of these rooms kind of look the same, which is kind of crazy, right? So Louis the 14th created this palace because he wanted to strengthen the power of the king, and basically by forcing all the royals to move from Paris to Versailles and kind of showing off this like wonderful palace, he was able to really solidify the power, which means, you know, even in this kind of an environment, a human being can suffer. And Louis XIV had that kind of showmanship and that drive to kind of put on a performance for the people, in order for the, he was kind of like Trump, I guess, these days, knows how to put on a show. But Louis the 14th, 15th and the 16th did not have that, and then found all of this to be a little bit more excessive than their level of comfort. And so it is said that they suffered a lot in these halls. And it's kind of crazy, right? How you can live in this giant palace and still suffer as a human being. I don't know. Human nature is weird. And apparently, the guy who drew all these ceiling paintings also ended his life because he was so overworked. And yeah, so when I look at it, is it beautiful? Of course. But even you're probably getting, sick of these paintings by now, right? Like, oh, these all kind of look the same. So even good things, even really great things, are best enjoyed in moderation, because when everything is good, then it sort of proves the point that nothing is good. Anyway, this is the final painting, final, video I took, and then I quickly realized all the videos are gonna look the same, so I was like, okay, time for me to stop making videos. Um, Anyway, that was my trip to Versailles. I think it was a generally good observation of the human nature and what can happen when you have the resources to really go for everything that you want in a human material life. But Prince Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha, also enjoyed a kingdom like this, but he got more curious about the conditions of suffering. Even in this kind of a life where all of my needs are fulfilled, I still suffer. So what is the answer to suffering? And I think it was inspirational for me as a Buddhist to look at the complete opposite end of, maybe if I do more, if I have more power, then I won't suffer anymore. But yeah, Louis the 14th was not able to become the Buddha, and it is said that he had a lot of words to regret with to share with his uh, successor, Louis the 15th. So anyway, that was my long video tour of the outside Paris tour that I did, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which is going to be about life coaching.